father, from what we can gather, his first lease in the market was in 1929. He had a small stall in the Grand Parade Market, and then he moved to Princess Street Market. We were lucky in the market at that time. We were in number 3 Princess Street, and Green Properties came in where Market Parade is now. And then it goes here with my father to move a little bit down, and they did the whole place up for him and whatever compensation they gave him. In 1980, the market went on fire, and hence this was available, so we came here. The shop has a great history. I think it was built in 1845-49, 1845-49. And to our knowledge, the first occupants were Cunningham's the pawnbrokers. Then in 1920 or thereabouts, it became Pickett's the wig makers. And then I think in 1960, they left and it was Fallon's the bookshop. And Fallon's the bookshop then were there until 1980, and it was us until now. So there really is only 4 tenants. But this building has a nice little history in this way. It's a residency, and it has a trading license, which is a little bit unusual. But you can see from the front of the building, whereas there was only one entrance. That's why we know that people lived upstairs or they lived over the premises, which is a fantastic idea. You know, I mean, you could, a little bit of decoration upstairs, you could live here yourself. My father was a very religious man, and he was part of every Christmas he used to give 40 families, we'll say the Christmas dinner. Now it wouldn't be turkey or ham they got, it would be shoulder. But one of our jobs was delivering to all these people, like, and I can remember going up Shandon Street up to an attic, like knocking at the door. There was a man, his wife and 2 kids inside there, and he had no means to cook the meat. You know, like that doesn't happen today. People don't realize how good it is today. Anywhere you go, there's food. People have money today, and so they can afford things. In the good old days or the bad old days, whichever you want to say, we used to have to come in to help him after school to deliver the messages, because as you know what Cork is like, it's too hilly. So we'll say the messenger boy in those days with a big basket on the bike full of parcels, he'd deliver, we'll say, on the flat of the city, out the Western Road, Wilton, and then we'd be dragged in after school to do Sunday as well, or St. Luke's, the way you could push the bike up with about 4 or 5 parcels, and then when you deliver them, you had the advantage of freewheeling all the way down Summerhill. But I used to like to do St. Luke's because the very first person we used to deliver to at that time, now I'm going back, I must have been no more than 15 or 16. Mrs. Buckley Sunday as well, she'd give you either 2 shillings or 2 and 6. The next person was a lady by the name of Mrs. Hallahan. She'd give you a load of buttered scones. The next person was Dr. Dillon. She'd give you a bag of apples. You nearly came down as much as going up with the parcels, you know, but in those days, people were extremely decent. When my father was in the market, Eddie Ring was his butcher, and Eddie Ring trained my brother and myself. You know, and it took us about 7 years to learn the trade fully. And another job you were given when we were young is to bring the carcasses, we'll say, from the van into the shop to hang up. But in those days, long ago, there was no refrigeration. Everything was hung up, and because the market was open, there was a grand wind in the market to keep stuff dry. But there's been great progress since those days, refrigerations. It made the job an awful lot easier, and it kept meat in perfect condition. And even to this day, sometimes we used to hang meat for 28, 30 days in refrigeration, in perfect conditions. So, like, that's how things progressed, all for the better. And then, of course, we had a butcher boy machine, which was a bandsaw, which made it much easier for us to cut through bone and things like that. But it was harder to trade because supermarkets came in. Like back in the day, we used to deliver twice a day at one time. And then supermarkets gradually came in, and people went to supermarkets. They're fantastic places to go to. They could do all their shopping in one day. But they still came here for meat. And they went to the market for fish, and they bought their veg. That was a great kind of tradition that we had. Like, one of the things that drew customers here is that we did an awful lot of things that other people didn't do. That's how we'll say we changed the business too, because we did our own sausages. At one time we'd made 24 different types of sausages. Like, there was duck liver sausage, pork and apple, pork and leek, pork and chive, plain pork, large pork. I could keep on going. Well, we really are closing because we're just getting too old, and there's nobody to take on the business. And before anything would happen to myself and my brother, we decided that the time has come for it to take things a little easier. Even though we love Cork, we're going over. We love the people of Cork, who have been very good to us. But it was really just due to age that we decided to hang up our knives. But that really is it. That, it's just the end of an era. Sad to see that there's no butcher shops left in the city centre outside the market. Getting back to the market, in the years gone by, I could nearly name 25 butchers that were in the market, and now there's only 4. It just goes to show the changing times.